There's a certain way of life synonymous with the West Coast. Laid back, easygoing, sitting on a rock, watching the tide roll in. But when it comes to West Coast disc golf, another word comes to mind. Big. From the mountains to the ocean, to the trees and the rocks, everything on the West Coast is just bigger. So it's the perfect venue for the biggest tournament ever held in Canada, and the fifth stop on the Canadian Disc Golf Tour, the 2023 BC Open. Since 2005, the BC Open has meant big courses, big payouts, big shots, and big names. Starting in Vancouver, moving around the Lower Mainland, and now finding a permanent home at the iconic Raptors Knoll Disc Golf Park, the BC Open is the big one. You might come for the courses, for the friends, for the scenery, or for the golf. You could put up a big score or be the big winner. It's a high-stakes game played on a razor's edge. Can you find that line between brave and reckless? When you come to the West Coast, you've only got one choice. Go big or go home.
Hello everyone and welcome to the 2023 BC Open. We got round one action for you guys. This is front nine action. I'm Andre on the mic. I got Jesse beside me. And Jesse, where are we today?
Yeah, round one will be starting at the beautiful Raptors Knoll course just south of Aldergrove. It is one of, and maybe the highest rated course in British Columbia via UDisc.
Yeah, and obviously today's round is brought to you, as always, by the PDGA and, of course, the patrons of Park Pro. And, we got an exciting first card here, feature card. Probably a few new faces for people who are used to the channel here.
Yeah, absolutely. Carter Ahrens, I believe they pronounce it Ahrens. He's sponsored by Dynamic Discs at the time of recording. He's a young gun out of the States who's looking to make a big impact this year.
Yeah, and as you can see there, he finished third last year, so he's been at this event a few times in the past.
Our boy, Max Regitnig, it's his first time playing the BC Open. Really his first year playing Canadian tournaments, but you'll know him from the coverage we watched the Tournament Capital Open.
Yeah, and he's an exciting player to watch, and hopefully he can keep up his hot streak here. He's playing pretty good on the Pro Tour at this point. So, and then next up we have Darren Stace-Smith. He's from Australia originally. I believe he's been in and out of the country as well. So, be cool to see him on coverage as well.
Yeah, I think he's settled in the Lower Mainland somewhere for now.
Lastly, another young gun, Luke Levesque. You heard him. We had him on our podcast earlier this year. He's a young gun. He's got some power to him. He's good on his forehand. He claimed to me that he might have a better forehand than Paul Macbeth. So we'll see how that plays out.
I love that confidence.
Yeah. On hole one here, we have the par 4, 610 feet. This one's a challenging one. What kind of shots are we going to see on this one, Jesse?
I think this one for this field should be looking for birdie. You'll see the left to right shape that kind of settles out past this pillar here. Most guys will be playing a big flex or turnover shape, but you can see some hyzers up onto the left side with an easy hyzer approach down. Dealer's choice, but just don't hit the tree on the right side because there is a little pocket of OB. Same mistake can be made with having too much hyzers. There's OB up on the left.
Yeah, for those that have played this course before, that log sort of outline of Circle 1 there, that's a new feature for this tournament. I know we were there earlier in the year, and that was not there, so kind of a cool addition.
Darren's got to hit the ground. Yeah, that's a safe play. You can still get up and down for birdie from there. But not biting up as much as you might like to see. I suspect Max will probably put this within 150 for an easy up and down.
get some nice turn on that disc. Blowing it right in.
Yep, not taking off as much as he could have, but, you know, looking right down the hill at the basket.
Yeah, that is a great position. You know, he's got that silo. It's not too far out of his way. So, see what Carter can do here. He's known for having a pretty big arm, so he should be able to get pretty far up the fairway.
That's got to turn.
Yeah, looked like maybe a slightly early release from him there. Didn't quite get the distance there.
Yeah, maybe just a height thing. And, you know, it's an A-tier event. It's your first tee of the tournament. There's got to be a little nerves as well. Even just with those Park Pro cameras staring you down.
Yeah. Let's see what Luke can do here.
That's another one, just testing that OB line up high. But saved by the tree.
Yeah, but that might make a tricky second shot here, and we'll see what it looks like. He might have like he might have to stand outside of that tree in order to get the shot off. So
He might be looking at a forehand from there, actually, in an awkward way to navigate the silo and the other trees.
Stace-Smith, an RPM player.
Throwing straight at it. Looking like a little bit of wind pushing it over.
Yeah, as you can see in the trees there is a light wind that might play factors into shots like that, especially when you get these touchy up shots.
Still a great spot, opportunity for birdie, but yeah, this step around might lead to an interesting forehand. But he's got all the touch in the world. Look at that.
Yeah, that looks great. There's that forehand coming to play. Didn't quite get the distance, and he stopped by that log. So yeah, that those logs come to play a factor here early.
Yeah, I'm sure that's why they added it. This hole's probably playing a little bit under par, and this just stops you being able to scoot it up on the dry ground. Yeah, Carter throws it perfectly.
That's a great up shot from Carter. Maybe slightly more cut off than originally thought from the silo.
Yeah, I think Max short-armed it a bit there.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to want that one back for sure.
And that's what that lie does to you, because if you pull it to the right, you end up in the trees. So you stare at the trees on the right, and sure enough, you throw it to the left.
Left with his jump putt.
Yep.
Didn't quite get all of it, but that's all right. He'll have an easy comeback for par.
It's a big putt for Luke. And a great
he makes a
builder.
good putt.
Yeah,
that's a good way to start your tournament. Get that confidence up on the putting green.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Darren just not quite getting that one to go. Maybe a little nerves playing in there.
Mm-hmm.
But he will get his par to fall. Here's Max for his par. Gets that one, no problem. Carter tapping in his nearly a drop-in birdie here, so.
Still taking his time, going through his routine. It's a good way to start your tournament, making sure you do everything right.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a good tip for any new players as well. If you have a putt that's, you know, within 10 feet, you see Carter there. He's we'll call him a young veteran, but, you know, he's got a lot of experience in big tournaments, and he, you know, going through his routine on these easy shots is something that a lot of new players forget to do, and you know, just making sure that stroke stays consistent. Hole 2, another par 4, 444 feet, a lot of fours in a row there. OB on the right-hand side, there is OB long, and to the left, it's kind of a funky hole. This is actually probably one of my favorite holes on the course.
Yeah, I agree. And there's so many options here. You can see a lot of guys taking a big forehand, trying to fit it through here. If you take off enough distance, you're still looking at par at worst for your shots because of all this OB. You can see some big turnovers, and then some people will throw a putter layup into the hill and then throw across all the OB. All attempts for birdie, but I think there's an eagle available to guys that have the distance on the forehand.
Yeah, and as you can see from this shot, the green is not an easy green either, so placement will be key either on that first or second shot, the up shot. So
Carter looks like he's got a mid here.
with a nice easy throw in.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That looks great. Just a perfect turn on that one and lands it nice and softly right in the middle of the fairway. Gives himself a chance at eagle.
Okay, this is the forehand that's better than Macbeth. This could be another eagle opportunity. So this could be in the OB to the right. And it's not.
Gets a good
saved.
kick off the tree.
Yeah, that's outside of the range where you might want to run that eagle because the OB is so tight around the green. Carter has a bit of an opportunity, but it looks like Luke has left himself short of that being a good
exactly.
idea.
Let's see what Darren's got here. The lefty.
I like this as the lefty. He's probably going to go deep over the OB and then try and skip towards. No.
Yeah, a little deep, but he should have a pretty good look at that. Unfortunately, he does have that OB backstop off his putt, so.
Max has the forehand for the eagle opportunity here. This is a cloud breaker.
Ooh, and he gets over on that one just a little bit too much.
If it stays left enough, oh yeah, never mind. He could have avoided the OB, but
yeah,
that's a bad spot.
Totally. But that OB, I do believe you proceed to the drop zone. But I think they had this discussion, and we'll see where they take it from. Because if he has to take that, yeah, there you go. OB from the drop zone. Which is probably fortunate for him, because if he took that where he was going out of bounds, it would have been pretty rough.
And he's pulled it right again. It's back-to-back errors from Max. Something he's going to hope to right soon.
Let's see what Luke has after that fortunate kick off that tree.
And that looks high and short.
That looks great.
Pretty good. Never mind.
Yeah. Puts it right under the basket. That's what you want to see. Here's Darren with his eagle bid.
Oh, again, shorter than it looked.
Yeah.
I really like this hole.
It's a great hole, and it's having it be the second hole as well is just like kind of, I don't know, it just kind of gets you into your round mentally because there's so much that comes into play.
Yeah, off the tee, off the second shot, around the putting green, you're always making decisions. This is a masterfully designed hole. And we're seeing so many different options.
Oh, Max just off the cage. That is unfortunate. He's going to, again, want that one back. And Carter making no mistake on that one. Obviously, getting the birdie to drop. That's 2 birdies in a row for Ahrens. That's a great start to his tournament.
I think that's one of the mistakes you can make here is that the eagle ability of the hole really eggs you on to do it. And then you end up in a position where you're looking at par at best if you make that error. Max taps in his bogey. Losing 2 to the card on one hole here.
There's another look at Darren's lefty form here.
Mm-hmm.
He puts that one in nicely into the fairway.
And I love this shirt.
It's a great shirt.
It's got all the RPM bird artwork on it, and it's got the team RPM Australia on his back.
Yeah, real stylish. Hole 3, par 3, 217 feet. This one can be a challenge, obviously, with all these trees in the way. And, when I play this one, I can barely get it there.
I like this hole as a short par 3. It also provides you a lot of options. As you're coming up here, the drones are flying a route that most people won't be able to throw, but a flexi type hyzer on the right side comes in nicely. A forehand or turnover on the left side also are in play. Very common to see a lot of guys hit the hillside and not quite stick it up top, which can produce some dramatic putts and rollaways.
Totally. And as we had on the last hole, Carter starting us off here.
Yeah, strong start. Birdie. See if he can make the turkey. And that's the turnover.
Oh. Going deep.
Yeah, just skipping off the top. A little bit more speed control necessary, but through the line very, very well.
Hopefully he still has a look for the birdie there. We'll see.
Luke will probably take this one a little bit wider and try and swing it in with the sidearm. Oh, he's going with the flex route, but still the wide flex route. That must be a stable disc.
Yeah, that was a touchy shot as well. He gets it to land up on top, but he does have that tree to compete with.
Mm-hmm. See what Darren does is the left-hander, probably the hyzer through the route. Just saw.
Yeah.
And just pulled it a bit wide. That's not uncommon and not the worst spot to get up and down from.
Here's Max.
think he'll be going the wide route. Yep, here we go. Letting it hyzer in. I love this. Oh, and I love that tree kick from Max. Great.
That is a great tree kick.
Settles him up on top. All right. A little bit awkward stance, and yeah, oh, that kicks down. So that is a spot you don't want to be. If you're in the trees, you might struggle to get up and down and even find your disc by the looks of things.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect a 217-foot hole to play all that difficult, but this was playing as the 6th most difficult hole on the day.
The putting
kind of
green
interesting.
must have a lot to do with that.
For sure.
And the gettability. You just walked off 2 par 4s and you're presented with a short par 3 that you think you can be a hero on. Oh, and speaking of heroes.
Carter, he did have a look, obviously, there. He's getting it on the left-hand side, gets it to drop. That's what you want to see. Great start from Carter.
Yeah, that's got to be a minimum of 45 feet from there, playing closer to 60.
Unfortunately, Darren didn't get his to fall, but let's see if Luke can get his. Nice hard putt from Luke there.
Yeah, I love that confidence because that much pace on that putt would result in like a 70-foot uphill comeback.
Yeah. And he says, Carter, not to be outdone, I'm going to do the same thing. Max getting his birdie. That's nice. He's got to get that, get off the schneid, as they say in the hockey world.
Yeah, it can't be Canadian disc golf without a couple hockey references,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Unfortunately, that's a double bogey for Darren there, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's very, very unfortunate to see it happen here, but that just shows the teeth of the hole. I hate to say it for him, but it's almost nice to have someone show you the consequences, because these guys usually play so well that I spend this time telling them about all the problems, and then they never have any problems.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's look at our scoreboard here. In first, we got Kirby Schneider, also an American, coming up. He's neg 8 through 15. That's awesome. Danny Gled, Trevor Schneider, both through neg 6. Yeah, we've got a neg 5 and then a slew of people at neg 4. So, yeah, it's tight at the top, and obviously these guys are kind of catching them pretty early.
Yeah, it's a very scoreable course. And what else is a big score? Advertising on Park Pro coverage.
Yeah, so we do have lots of advertising available. We have a few tournaments left in this year, so if you're interested in advertising for this year or interested in advertising for next year's Canadian Disc Golf Tour, hit us up. Visit our website, or you can send us an email, info@parkpro.com. Yeah, hole 4, par 3, 269 feet. This one's an interesting one. It's a bit of a funky gap out of the off the hop, and then obviously the challenge here is the green.
Yeah, I think a lot of high sidearms will get into circle 1, but getting into circle 1 could mean bogey, which is surprising. This was a very contentious green. You can be stuck 10 feet from the basket and have to putt from your stomach with no ability to birdie. Lots of talk about this hole amongst players.
Yeah. This was playing as the second easiest hole on the day. So let's see how these guys do.
Ooh, the turnover. Maybe about 20% of players throw this. And he does it just as well as anyone could throw a sidearm. Wow.
Beauty. But it's funny. That's the challenge of this hole is even that you might have stuff in your way. You get it that close and you might have stuff in your way.
It's almost an exercise in distance control. As you see, Carter comes in the front side, which is the safest, but 10 feet longer, and he has nothing. Luke's looks low. He's going to be relying on a big skip here, and he's in the no-go zone.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Almost at the tee boxes in the back there for hole 5. But, hopefully he can recover. Probably not going to have much of a look from there.
Thankfully, he's deep enough that he'll actually be able to make stance and try and make something crafty happen. Max with another perfect one.
Yeah.
Being tight to those trees is the biggest mistake.
Let's see what Darren can do. The lefty maybe a little more difficult on this one.
Inside is the lefty? No, outside, just like the sidearm shape.
Yeah. And he puts it right under the basket, gets the tree kick, and gets it to drop. Don't hit your head.
Yeah, no kidding. Those are, with the exception of Luke, as you can see here, He's got nothing. He might be able to pitch up and over or something like that to just give himself another attempt. Yeah.
And that's about all you can hope for from there. But Max should make no problem with this.
Still a lot of stuff in the way. Got to make sure you take your time, have your stroke on point.
Yeah.
Max does just that.
That's a good bounce back from Max as well, getting 2 birdies in a row there, recovering from those first couple of mishaps.
Yeah, not allowing himself to get in a funk over a bogey that he didn't want to take. Luke taps out. Carter's going to have to do some fancy footwork here for his tap in.
Yeah, who'd have thunk you'd have to do that when you're within 6 feet?
Yeah, you can't stand in most of those spaces.
No.
Darren tapping in his as well, and honestly, for the amount of drama I saw in some groups, these guys get out of it pretty well scot-free.
Yeah, definitely. It's always nice to see. Don't know who we have coming out of the trees here. Looks like Darren. And that's that Heiser. That was almost an ace run there.
Yeah, if there is an ace run on that hole, honestly, I want to talk about this one. Par 5, 739 feet, but we are playing this hole from the blue tee instead of the gold tee. Another contentious move that a lot of players were talking about. As a par 5 from that tee, it's playing a bit soft for the competition. Most players will want to land around this rock, which gives you a nice hyzer around for an eagle or birdie attempt, pushing here and then breaking left after these trees. Some of these guys will be able to get the disc to where the drone is now. And really, once you're down there, you just need to make sure you don't get caught up in this thick rough. Otherwise, it's a fairly straightforward to navigate and also a really, really fun tee shot to throw.
It's a great shot. Playing downhill means that you can bite off quite a bit. And as you can see, there's a bit of a backup here. And that was one of the things that they were trying to mitigate by bringing it up to the blue tees. Obviously, not quite having the effect that they were hoping for, but hopefully won't affect these guys too much.
Yeah, this is the biggest year for the BC Open and the most players they've ever had. Carter's thrown this really well if it has some comeback in it. Just a bit early.
Yeah, it's a good point, actually. I'm glad you brought that up because they did break the record for the largest Canadian tournament at this event. I believe it was over 600 people. I'm not quite sure what the exact number was, but obviously a landmark for Canadian disc golf and something that I think year after year will just continually trying to grow and beat. So as we see Max, unfortunately, leaking out a little bit left, and I guess we'll just have to see what he has from there.
Yeah, Carter got the benefit of a good tree kick back to the ideal landing zone, where Max looks like he might have pushed into those trees a bit more.
See what Darren's got here. Getting a little high.
Yeah, I think that's going to push a bit too far right.
Yeah, a little too much airspace underneath there, and yeah, he might just have to pitch out from there.
Yeah, that's a tough one as a lefty, just based on that turnover shape people are trying to throw. You'd have to throw a sidearm or very low straight.
Yeah, and like when you look at where his disc landed, that's a little bit early, and
wow.
So we see Luke here going to the leaking left as well. So he's going to be joining Max over there. So 3 shots that are leave a little bit to be desired. But as we see, Darren got a little bit lucky. He's a nice window here.
Yeah, and so now there's an island of trees that Darren is nearby that he might have been lucky enough to get behind and still have a look at the green. Luke here, not so lucky, probably just trying to pitch something up and over around the corner. And he does just that. Oh, but yeah, he sawed it off and he's gone too far. This pinches the corner off, making it very hard to access the green.
And that's the thing is, like, if you get, as you see there is some airspace in those trees there. So if you can land it in front of those, then you're looking okay. But where these guys are landing is just not a lot of options. We see Max try to push his way through and not quite sure where that one landed, and we'll see where he is on his next shot.
Thankfully, the blue tees make the par a bit soft, so you do have a stroke and a half or so to play with, but you'd definitely prefer to not have that.
Here's Carter landing it in circle 2. He'll have a tough putt for the eagle, but
and Darren's just not on this hole.
Yeah, just as you said, just a little bit off, and fortunately getting the unfortunate kick there to the right.
Sky God out of Max, and this just caught a tree as the transition in the camera happened. Again, not
Unfortunate.
quite getting it.
There's Darren. He's putting his in circle 1. Here's Luke, a little touchy shot here, and he does really well to recover from where he was.
Yeah, that's a beautiful woods shot. Max here probably going to just try and push a jump putt over there.
Does he get it? Oh,
And a great effort.
great line. Just not quite the distance, but I'd love to see it. Here's Carter.
Carter's got the distance for that putt.
Ooh, a little bit to the right, but he had the right height.
Let's see if Darren can put this one to bed.
Oh, that is unfortunate. So you kind of mentioned that this is playing a little soft, and you were right. It is playing as the easiest hole. You wouldn't be able to tell as much from these guys, but as Luke putting in the birdie, it was a great recovery from him, and Darren unfortunately getting the bogey.
You can see the troubles that Darren had on that hole, and to see that he walks away with only a bogey kind of does give you that hint that it's playing a bit soft. But these are some fantastic players we're watching.
Yeah, and we had 2 eagles on the day on this hole. Shout out to Danny Gled and Gabe Piska.
And in round 3, shout out to Jesse, who's talking to you right now, and my card mate Liam Herberg. We also had Circle 1 Eagles on the 3rd round.
Well, there you go. Well, spoiler alert for round 3 there.
Yeah,
See?
from the what were they? Like
Or
the
round
third
2,
from
I
the-
guess. Round 2, right?
I can't remember. Didn't we go one?
I think it was Raptors, and then. But
That's true. Anyway, we were on like the 3rd to last pro card, and we managed to get it. So
there you go. Hole 6, par 4, 519 feet. This is a kind of an interesting one. It's pretty tight here. Your first shot, you're gonna throw a bit of a hyzer and try to land it in this kind of opening area that the drone's flying over now, in order to give yourself the upshot up the hill.
yeah, absolutely. And this is probably the opposite. One of the harder holes on the course. Navigating that corner off the tee is harder than you'd think. Pushing too far and too straight will put you in an angle where you can't make it up the hill. Sawed off early will put you in the trees where you might not have the footing to throw well enough to get up the hill. But once you have a look at it, a big hyzer that's in the angle that the drone is now will get you into the green, and hopefully for an easy up and down.
Yeah, playing as the 3rd hardest hole on the course for the day. Let's see if these guys can make something happen.
Yeah, I'd love to see Carter. See, he pushes it too straight and lands in that pocket I was talking about. It will be very hard for him to keep his perfect streak alive.
Yes, yeah. And this is that first shot is so tight, and you have to hit it just perfect. As Luke unfortunately hits a tree and kicks to the left, but he might have something over there. As you can see, the amateur pads there, the red and the blue, and behind it, that leaves an opening. So
Yeah, if you land on that tee box anywhere in front or behind it, you're in very, very good position to get up and down the hill. Max, like Carter, pushing it too straight, too far.
see what Darren has, that lefty forehand out of the gap. Puts this a little bit to the right as well, but he does get him to stable up, and we'll see what he's left with, but he might be a little cut off there still.
Yeah, he could be in that inside position where you still don't have much. Let's see if Luke just, chips out to the fairway.
Makes the smart decision and pitches out.
This is where your ego gets you bogeys, because if you're out of position but still have stance, you'll try very hard to get it up there, and it's very, very difficult.
And Luke just not quite executing the way he wanted on that shot either, but fortunate to not go to the left OB, as you see the stakes there.
Yeah, that'll put bogey in play for him if he doesn't make that putt. Thankfully not going OB. Aaron,
Out of the
inbounds as
gap.
well.
Yeah, same spot. I believe that's right beside Luke's disc there. Max a little putt out to the gap.
Yeah, there's probably like a 6 foot, maybe not quite 6 foot, but big elevation drop. It's almost like a small pothole.
Yeah.
A jump putt back up to the fairway. Carter's going to try and still get that birdie.
And one of the big challenges of this hole is also just, if you land in that area, it can be challenging to find your disc even. So I believe we were looking for Carter's disc for a little while, and we were lucky to find it.
Shout out to the spotters that were there all weekend. They did a great job, but it is just so thick in some of those spots that it's hard to see.
Oh, yeah. Look at this from Max. It was a great shot. He unfortunately gets the little kick off the tree at the end, biting off a few feet that he would have loved to have.
All right. Ooh, this is going to be very tough.
Going up and over Carter there.
It's about all you can do.
Here's a bid from Darren from distance.
Yep.
See what Max can do here. Even with the little branch, he still gets his par to fall.
See the smile on his face.
Yeah.
And did we miss Luke's approach?
I
No,
think-
he was...
I don't quite remember. I don't remember seeing Luke's approach, but here he is.
Yeah, I thought he was closer to the OB line, kind of closer
Yeah.
to where Darren was.
Yeah. That's all right. He gets his bogey to fall. Unfortunate for him. Dropping a stroke. But he's still doing pretty good at -3. Carter will get his par to drop, and there's his first, I don't want to say blemish, but his first, he's not perfect anymore, let's say.
Yep, he took the punishment for that tee shot, but he played the rest of the hole about as well as he could from where he was.
Yeah. And it's time for another scoreboard check-in. We're through 6 holes. Kirby Snyder is in the house, what do they call it? The clubhouse.
He's in the parking lot. At Nate.
Yeah, the old parking lot clubhouse. Casey Hannemeyer, -7 through 8. That's a great start from Casey. Then we got Gabe and Trevor both at -6. Carter, Connell, and Eric and Riley all at -4. And then a couple other guys rounding at our top 10 going -4.
Yeah, a couple guys really putting on a heater there. Close to perfect.
Yeah. Hole 7, par 3, 330 feet. This one's pretty straightforward. It's just kind of a straight shot, but there is hazard on the left-hand side here. You see the chips with the trees and the rocks, so that kind of makes your stock hyzer a little bit more challenging.
Yeah, it's for these guys, it'll be a rip your favorite putter straight at it, or, mid-range hyzer maybe, just for the stability. The biggest mistakes you make will be because of your depth perception. There's not a ton of intermediate targets looking straight at the disc to range off, or straight at the basket to range off of. But really a mistake is a mental mistake here, or a misread on some wind.
See if Carter can get back on the birdie train here. Put that one up high, and is he going to leak into the... Oh, just skirting the boundary there, and he is safe from the hazard.
Yeah, maybe just a little high. You can see a little bit of breeze in the trees, definitely affecting the disc, but maybe not a ton.
Here's Max. Gets over on that one a little more than he would have liked.
Yeah, that was his MD3 that he usually throws so well.
There is OB over there, and that he finds it.
That's an unfortunate mistake from Max. Potentially correcting off of Carter's push towards the hazard.
Yeah.
And just an overcorrection.
Yep. Here's Darren.
This is tough as a lefty.
Definitely. You want something that will turn and hold that line, and that looks like exactly what he's done. He puts this one into circle 1, and he's got that's a nice drive.
Yeah, just talking about how tough it is as a lefty, that is perfectly thrown.
See if Luke can follow that up. This one looks like it might be leaking left a little bit.
Yeah, similar issue to Carter. Maybe expecting a bit more turn as we saw that one flip up.
Yeah, and he does find the hazard there, and he does have a pretty significant putt there. Max calling for his caddy. Shout out to his dad for getting on the bag.
Yeah, shout out to Jay. I know he's been very involved with this tournament in the past. He's been a spotter. He's working at Ace Runners right now, so you would have greeted him when you picked up your players pack at the tournament. Staple of British Columbia disc golf for a long time.
Here's Luke from the hazard. Getting fortunate to hit that pole, the flag. But he would have liked that one to drop for sure.
Carter can keep his putting up.
Not quite. Looking a little more fluttery on that one. That's unfortunate. Until he wants that one back. Here's Max getting his bogey to drop. So unfortunately taking the stroke from the out of bounds, but otherwise not too bad.
Yeah, this is one that they'll be frustrated with in their head because it does feel like you should get it all day, every day. Darren tapping in his birdie. Maybe not such a tap in, but a good putt and a great tee shot as the lefty.
Yeah, and surprisingly playing a little more difficult. It's definitely in the bottom half of the as far as difficulty of holes, which is kind of surprising because when you look at the hole, when you approach it, you just think it looks easy. It looks like it's right there for the taking. And as we take a look at Darren's putt, just managed to sneak over the rim.
You can see the smile on his face. He knows he left it a little low.
Yeah. Hole 8, par 3, 264 feet. This is, I'd say this is the signature hole on the course as you know, the drone will show you why.
Yes, you can usually see the mountains very, very clearly in the background. It's a beautiful view, and they don't call it Raptors Knoll for nothing with this kind of landscape architecture showing off the Raptor, which is also a scoring feature of the course. You have to land on the stones or the wings to be in bounds. The gravel in front is hazard.
Yeah, but and the grass in behind is still safe, but yeah, presents a challenge.
Presents a challenge, and again, as a putting green challenge, if you have to run it from far, you might be choosing to lay up.
Exactly. And Darren will have to make that choice as he goes a little bit deep from what you'd want, but it's pretty challenging to land it on top because, you know, if you get it at the wrong height, there's a good chance you're going too long, or there's a good chance you're just going to hit that wall and drop into the hazard.
Carter's thrown this very well.
Puts it directly behind the basket.
Max is going Sky God P2.
Yeah, he's just going to try to float that putter in there.
I love this.
Oh, just unfortunate. Almost gets it to go perfectly, but just catching that corner of the tail and the wing. So that is too bad for Max.
Yeah, must have been inches. Thankfully, he'll be able to tap in his par from there.
Here's Luke trying to do the same thing, maybe a little bit further to the left than what he'd like. Hitting that wall, just like we mentioned earlier. So we had too long and too short.
I do think that if you are not a confident putter, you want to be left or right so that you have more safe area to catch your putt if you miss. Pitch putter's delight if you want to take a run at it and have it drop.
We saw Darren wisely laying his up and Luke getting that nice putt to fall.
Yeah, nice confident putt we see on Luke every time. Lots of pop and great result.
Yeah, definitely. One of the young guns. I believe he's from the island, I think Victoria.
Yeah, I know he's a BC boy as well. Ooh, that's scary.
Can fall off pretty fast there, but it looks like Carter is safe. Max getting everything but the drop. I believe he hit cage, chains, and rim on that one.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. It happens when you're putting uphill like that, when you catch a little bit of the rim and it kind of ramps you upwards even more. You feel like you've done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Another bogey for Max, unfortunately.
Yep. And then Carter Drake getting his par to drop after fortunately staying on the tail in bounds on his approach. So there's that bogey from Max and par from Darren.
Yeah, Max twice, inches from perfect. Getting punished for both.
Take another look at Luke's putt here. Just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Love to see that, especially from a young guy from like him.
Yeah, confidence is huge when you're young. I think you're fast and you're strong and the rest of it's in your head.
Yeah. Hole 9, par 3, 325 feet. This will be the last hole of the front 9. Yeah, it's kind of can be quite a challenge here just to get over top of these trees on the left-hand side and lacing it into this area. So the interesting thing here is the green again. So and all these bumps to contend with, these dirt mounds.
Yeah, and since the years have gone by since this course was installed, you can see that the weeds have grown high on the mounds, making them even more challenging to navigate. Most guys will go for a high sidearm or turnover that takes the most airspace to the right of the basket that you see here and try and crash it into the dome of dunes.
Darren up first. Going wide left.
Why'd you go lefty there?
Just not quite getting the distance that he would have liked on that one.
Yeah, based on the wind direction we see here, getting that plate pushed down by the wind might have left it a bit short from what he's used to practicing. Carter looking like he's lining up some kind of overhand to pop it up over the trees and drop it down there. Yeah, thumber of him. Wonder if Carter's got a baseball background.
I think he's just got an athletics background. That whole family looked pretty athletic.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Similar issues to Darren, just leaving it a bit short.
That may be one of the limiting factors with doing that overhand plays. You just don't quite get the distance that you'd like.
This looks wide. That tree eats up a lot of discs trying to swing in. Yeah, ends up pin high, but just too wide. Didn't make it all the way back.
You'd have to contend with those mounds we saw earlier. See if Max can get one back here.
This looks inside, maybe.
He will also have a mount to contend with, but that's on that the right-hand side, so I think he'll at least have a look at that.
It's tough because these will be putts that look makeable, and then you'll have to contend with those weeds. And I think people start conceding these really high pitch putts to try and drop them in, and it's not what they're used to. Very hard to execute.
So we can see Luke here, right up against the mount, but he does have a little bit of a look and just can't quite get it to drop.
Probably as good as effort as you can make from there.
Yeah. Here's Carter.
Doing what he can to get around that tree.
Yeah. Doesn't quite get the birdie, but he'll have an easy par. Darren landing on the mound.
This is a nice break for Darren. Gives him a really good attempt.
Fortunately, unable to capitalize.
Keeps it close. Yeah, Max going to have to pitch this one up and over these a little bit. Let's see if he does the floaty putt or the hyzer.
Also unable to get it to drop, so not as much damage here for these guys, but they will all get their pars to go.
Yeah, as these guys drop in, reflect on the round a little bit. Carter absolutely shredding. Luke back and forth a little bit. Darren with some mistakes he'd like back, but some great birdies to even things out. And Max with a lot of small errors.
Yeah, and unfortunately those errors are piling up as he is at +1 through 9.
Mm-hmm.
That's certainly not where he'd like to be.
Yeah, not playing to his personal standard. There's a lot of golf left on some very scoreable holes, and I think we'll see things change up on the back nine.
Yeah, for sure. Take another look at Carter's overhand here.
Good technique, great extension.
Take a look at our scoreboard. Kirby Schneider still sitting at the top here. We have Colin and Casey both at -7. Connell, Trevor, Gabe -6. Carter, Axel, Kieran, and Eric all at -5. So still pretty tight at the top here. Lots of, as you said, lots of disc golf to be played here.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the back nine is probably my favorite nine on Raptors, with some more par 4s, par 5s, scoreable holes, and some other crazy separators like we saw on this one.
Yeah. So thank you for watching the front nine action. We'll see you on the back nine. I'm Andre.
And I'm Jesse.
Later. Bye.